So whether you're working full-time, part-time, or dedicated full-time to your property hunting business, time management is going to be an essential requirement to get the most done in the least amount of time and make your business as efficient as possible. Because ultimately, we're not here to work on this 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're the same as me, we're looking to build a nice lifestyle business that generates plenty of wealth and revenue. It allows us to do the bits of the process that we enjoy, and then ultimately allows us to scale and recruit, outsource and recruit internally, depending on how big you want your business to get. So what we need to do first of all is allocate specific time to the things that cannot be changed in our diary week to week. Now, as you will see throughout the whole of the property hunting program, we are massive fans of Google. So Google Workspace is what we use. So we use Google Calendar, we use Gmail for our work emails, we use G Drive, we use Google Meet, and we are big fans of Google. So everything that we show you will be Google based. Obviously you can use other calendars, but when it comes to syncing this with our in-house software, you are going to want to use Google to follow along with the demos that we've got. So unless you are wedded to another calendar type, I would strongly recommend setting up a Google account, which we touch on a little bit later in this program. But what we'll do here is we've got Monday to Friday across the top, or Monday to Sunday. So what I would do is, if you're working full time, it'd be very tempting to put 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 and block that whole time out. But I know for a fact, because it is a legal requirement, that you will be having a lunch break. And actually, your lunch break is an opportunity to do some contribution of work towards your property hunting business. So what I would do is, if you have your lunch at 12, I would just simply block out 9 till 12, just put work, and then just keep doing that along the different diary elements so that you can see exactly what time you've got available. So let me just quickly do that for you, and then we will jump right back in. So once done, your calendar is going to look a little bit like this. So we've got work, we've got gym, we've got breakfast. I always put meals in there. Even if you don't eat around about these times, I would just adjust that accordingly. But generally, it's good practice to have the discipline of keeping meal times at certain times. It just works very nicely for time efficiency. So what we've got now is we've got an idea of little slots where we can have dedicated property activity. So clearly, working part-time, this example person, this would have time on an evening till night time. We've also got time on a Wednesday and Thursday. Even things like kids swimming, you could squeeze in some activity in there. But the point is, this is going to give you an idea as to how many hours per week you've got available. Now, Saturdays and Sundays at the moment are totally free. Obviously, you would add your meal times in there and the time you get up. But Saturdays and Sundays, I like to reserve for things such as, if I was working full time, it would be viewings. It would be the activity that I need to catch people at home. So that would be Saturdays and Sundays. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, I'll use my normal work hours kind of activity. So that might be building my network. It might be doing some bits of area research. It might be reaching out to agents around arranging viewings. Just that I know on Saturdays and Sundays, I block out from 10 till 4, whatever it is. Again, on Saturdays, you might have prior commitments with sport activities. I'm not going to dictate to your life, but this is what it will look like, so you know what kind of free time you have available. So once you've got the idea of free time, what you're going to do is you're going to think about the activities that you're going to do as a property hunter that you're going to need to fit in at certain times. So of course, you can't do, for example, agent outreach where you're going to try and book viewings with agents at 9 o'clock at night, because the reality is no one's going to be there to book viewings. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule. However, 95% of agents are not going to be available at 9 p.m. to book viewings for the weekend. So you need to be doing that during the day, during times that you're going to catch the agents. So if you think about the activity that you're going to be doing day to day, remember we've got key bits of activity, which is lead generation. That includes viewings. We've got deal creation with regards to deal analysis, due diligence. We're going to be doing our numbers. We're going to be speaking with the relevant parties to those numbers. So agents, it might be property owners. It might be our buyers. It might be a case of speaking with our buyers on an evening because they work maybe full time and it's easier to get them between here, let's say 7:30 and 8:30. We might arrange to have buyer conversations in that time. So what I would then do is put in here buyer conversations, give it a different color, and now we've got our property activity. So again, I might double that up. So I might have buyer conversations on a Thursday as well. And now we've got 2 hours a week dedicated to buyer conversation times. And what I'd probably do is also look to drop one in round about a lunch break. So again, if you want to catch people during the day who maybe don't like to do this sort of thing on an evening, just have a slot available for buyer conversations on an afternoon. Usually lunch times are a good time because most people have a lunch break, especially if they are working. So buyer conversations is going to be one. Booking viewings is going to be a good one. Now what I would do is, yes, you've got a lunch break here from work, but this is another good opportunity to do some booking of viewings. If you're going to do your viewings, so let's just allocate a viewing slot on a Saturday. So what we'll do is, again, property activity, we're just going to create it as blue, and then we're going to have a viewing slot between 9:30 and 4 p.m. Some agents do Sunday viewings. Sundays tend to be a bit of a day of rest for a lot of people, so don't allocate too much for Sunday. Sunday's a good day to spend it with your family. Or also you could do bits of research. You might do some area research. You might do some Rightmove research in terms of the property stock that's come on. You might do some trawling through the planning portal, for example. That's the sort of thing I might do on a Sunday just to chill out. I try not work on weekends that much. If I have to do work on a weekend, then I will. But then again, I've got Monday to Friday dedicated entirely to property. So it depends on what you've got available as to what you can do. But what I might do here, so let's just say we do book viewings. So if we've got book viewings, what we need to do is we need to make sure that there is a slot available, whether that's on a Sunday or whether it might be Monday morning, where we're going to look at the viewings that we're going to book. So of course, let's just drag this over here to show you the colors. So what we might do is we might put a list in that book viewings, and this is why I like Google Calendar. So every week on a Sunday, what I might do is when I'm going through Rightmove, I might put in viewings to book, and then put a list of and the reason why I do this and why I would be doing this if I was working full time even more so, is that what it gives you is a quick shortcut to, and what I would do is actually put the URL, so the Rightmove URL in here. So what you've got is you've got the address, quick reference, the agent who's dealing with it, the number who they are, and then the URL of the property, so that you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, but the point is it's a quick reference, so you can just literally click, phone, book the viewing, done. So you're not having to spend ages trawling through Rightmove, looking through the listings, having to go through shortcuts. It is literally here in your calendar. This will be on your phone if you've got the calendar app on your phone. Literally just go through that, book there, and then do that. And set yourself a few, so you obviously do 5, book that, and then get those viewings booked, and then that's a successful lunch break on Tuesday to get those done. Now what I also might be doing is some agent outreach. So again, what I would be doing, and if the more consistent you can be with this, the better it is for you, because of course it just means that you know that on a certain day, at a certain time, you're going to be doing a certain thing. Now if you try and leave it to chance and you just sort of go, well, you know what, next week I'll get round to whatever, the chances are life will take over and you just simply won't get it done. Now I'm not saying that this is fail-safe way of doing things, because it still relies on your own personal discipline to take action. However, what it does do is, you can set your reminders on here, so you've got your notifications here, so you add a notification, and you might do that 10 minutes before, you might do it a day before, you might do it half an hour before, just something that's going to remind you to do this activity, so that you are going to be consistently reminded at least to do it, even if you don't do it. So what I might do here is I might do network outreach or network growth, for example. So again, I'm going to put that into my diary for on a Wednesday at Wednesday morning, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it weekly on a Wednesday, so I know every single week that's going to be in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to think, right, what network are we going to go? Let's say this week Again, this is something that you would do on a Sunday evening, for example. You're going to set your week ahead, so you're going to set your discipline for the week ahead. Network growth. Today, I'm going to do mortgage broker outreach. So mortgage broker outreach. And then say connect with minimum 10 local mortgage advisors, for example. 10 might be a bit much, it might not be very many. The point is you need to set a target in here, so maybe 5, and then just follow the outreach method that we teach in terms of reaching mortgage brokers. So that might be through LinkedIn, it might be using an Apollo list. Again, it doesn't have to be necessarily local mortgage advisors, but certainly start with local, because we want to try and build that local reputation. But remember, people do work with mortgage advisors remotely, so that it's not necessarily always going to be local. And then what you've got is, you know that on your book viewings, you can click on that when it comes to that day. Yep, got my list, phone, bang, done. Come on to network growth on the Wednesday. Right, let's have a look. Mortgage broker outreach, connect with a minimum 5 mortgage advisors. Yep, great, got that target, let's get that done. Buyer conversations, let's just say that we haven't got any buyer conversations in the diary. Well, don't worry, because what we're going to do then is we're going to make the point of arranging buyer conversations. So we're going to do some LinkedIn outreach for potential buyers, minimum 10 contacts. So hopefully you can see what we're trying to do is build out that week so that we're thinking about the activity that we're doing. So let's just say what we haven't done here. So let's do some Rightmove. So again, remember, because if you haven't got a client, you can be doing Rightmove research, just so you're making sure you're up to date with what good looks like. If you have got buyers lined up, then you could be doing searches for them. What we're also going to be doing is we're going to be thinking about lead generation activity. So lead generation on market. And I might set myself a good few hours of that just before school pickup here. And then in that, again, what we're going to do is on a weekly basis, we're going to come in here and we're going to say, right, we're going to look at free ad sites for new direct to seller leads. And if there aren't any of those, we're also going to look at new listings on Rightmove. And we're also going to be looking potentially at local property paper listings. So again, that's all stuff that we're going to be looking at on a Sunday. So let's just put in here, so 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, I might be sat on my phone watching something on telly, and I might just put set up week ahead activities, for example. Then I'm going to, again, just going to pop that in blue. And then what we're going to add in, so from these viewings, we're potentially going to have some due diligence to do. So we might do due diligence on a Saturday afternoon. So we've come back from our viewings. We might do viewing due diligence, for example. So again, we're going to look at those. And then what it might be is it might be a case on Monday. It's going to be make offers following weekend viewings. And that's going to be sat in there on a Monday. So again, what I would do is anything like that, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to repeat weekly on a Monday, done. So that's going to be repeat weekly on a Sunday, done. I think that's already, is that repeated? No, so weekly on a Saturday, done. And what we might do is we might also set up some viewings here. So let's just do viewings. And that's going to be till 12:30. And what we're doing is we're just starting to organize ourselves a bit so that when people are asking, oh, when can you book viewings? You can say, well, I'm available between 10:30 and 12:30 on a Wednesday, or I'm available 9:30 till 4 on a Saturday. When can I get in, kind of thing. So then when those viewings are booked, you can add them in like this. So viewing 1, so you would just add them in as the times. So viewing 1. And hopefully you get the picture of as to how you would go in and book that in. And then, of course, you would get into those offers. You would make, so again, due diligence. You might do a bit of due diligence before you do school pickup on a Wednesday. And then you might, while the kids are swimming, you might make offers for today's viewings. So I'm not going to go into the granular nature of every single thing that you need to do, because that is going to become clear the more and more activity that you use. Now, obviously, you've got access to the workspace, so you can ask questions in there around different things. But remember, we're thinking about the key KPIs, the key performance indicators that are going to keep your business moving forward. So we are looking at the number of viewings that you're doing, the number of offers that you're making, the number of offers that you're getting agreed. You're looking at the number of conversations you're having with potential buyers. You're looking at growing that network. 5 key performance indicators that you've got goals around, that you want to make sure that all of this activity that you've got going on is specific to those activities. If you start faffing around with allocating 5 hours a week for admin, you're just going to fill that with nonsense and junk time that you don't need to do. Make sure that the bulk of your activity that you're doing is entirely focused on these key elements of success, and you do that, you will be successful. So that's how I do time management. Hopefully you found that useful. I'm looking forward to hearing how many hours you've got available and the activities that you're going to be doing and the KPIs that you are going to be setting, which we're going to come on to in a bit.